If you have ever worked on your action figure poses while dropping a deuce, or if you spend more time with your action figure collection than your own children, well then I really don't know what to say to you, because you really need some help. But all jokes aside, there's no judgment here. This is a channel for action figure collectors to really get hyped up for action figures that are up for pre-order, that are out in the public that you can pick up, or stuff that's yet to arrive in the near future. And today we're going to be talking about some action figures that are probably about a year away. And I'm not saying that every single figure is a year away, but I think that's like the time frame. There are some figures that are set to be released within the next couple of months from this entire wave or this entire series. But as I said, they're going to be kind of spread out throughout the next year or so. We are talking about the new Jada Toy Street Fighter action figures. We have already received Ryu, we received Chun-Li, and then Fei Long. All of them fantastic, phenomenal figures. I can't speak highly enough about them. Primarily the packaging was probably the thing that caught my eye the most when I saw them in store. That like arcade style action figure packaging is just exactly what this toy company needed, because even though yes, Hasbro has their own packaging for like Marvel Legends, and the DC Multiverse has a completely different style of packaging, throughout the line they look very generic in store, and they just don't stand out as much as so far the Jada Toy Street Fighter line does. That one really catches your eye regardless of what else you may be looking for. It really does stand out, and it's a packaging that looks phenomenal for this particular line, and they can continue to use it at least for the Street Fighter universe. Not to mention if they happen to do another video game franchise or another license with video games that is similar to this franchise, anything that's like retro, that was once played on a retro arcade cabinet, this is going to be perfect for that. They can continue to reuse this particular packaging over and over, and I don't think anybody's going to get tired of it. So first of all, I just wanted to give them credit for that. They are releasing some other lines. For example, I believe they're doing like the cereal mascots, which same thing. The packaging looks phenomenal. I absolutely really enjoy seeing those in store. I have not picked up any of these. Like I said, I'm trying to be a little bit more careful with what lines I jump in, but those figures look phenomenal in packaging as well. And I know what most of you guys are thinking, hey, Milk Mustaches, are you just going to rub your nips and talk about action figure packaging and boxes all day? No, that's not the main objective. I tend to ramble. It's something that I definitely need to work on. So moving on from the packaging, I wanted to talk about some other figures that haven't been officially released, although some of the overseas sellers have been able to get these out. I see them on eBay consistently selling for third-party prices. A lot of these are going for, you know, high 30s to low 40s, even mid 40s, depending on what character it is. The biggest one that we have seen so far is Bison, which I personally have not been able to pick up thus far. I'm gonna wait before I decide to pay the third party like eBay and Amazon sellers, which are usually asking for quite a bit more. But I have to say right off the bat, just from the promotional images, it appears that they're not compromising on the look or the aesthetic of the character, which I really do appreciate from Jada Toys. They could have easily just reused the same body mold for most of the male characters, but it seems like, at least from the promotional images, they're going to use, for the most part, a brand new body mold. Not to mention the cape looks like it's going to be like a soft plastic. I've said this before when it comes down to these type of collectible action figures. I don't really love the cloth capes. I mean, if that's something that you're into, there are a lot of these imported action figures that you can pick up, usually a little bit more pricey, but you can pick them up and you know, have some fantastic display options with the capes. But when it comes to like McFarlane or Jada Toys or Hasbro, like the $20 to $25 price range, I really love the soft cape, or the soft plastic cape rather than like a soft goods cape. Now, in some cases, if you want to do some customizing, you can always buy the wired capes. For some reason, some of these big manufacturers don't want to take the risk. I'm not sure if it's like a hazard to have wired capes on their action figures, or if it's a bigger risk. Regardless, it's a phenomenal looking figure. The other one that we've seen, again, we've already seen images of this, but I just wanted to recap, is the Ken action figure. Now, this figure does seem to have some reuse, but you're getting a brand new head sculpt, actually 2 brand new head sculpts, as well as a blast effect piece. And we kind of assumed that the Ryu was going to share a body mold, or at least a lot of different portions of the body with the Ken action figure. I have no problems with it. I think as long as they're not forcing any particular body mold onto a specific character, I think it's okay to reuse amongst the line, as long as it makes sense and it looks aesthetically pleasing, which in this case it appears to be so. But as I said, there were other figures that up to this point we have not seen any pre-order or promotional images for, but we did get a close look at Cammy, for example, which looks phenomenal. Great articulation all around. She does appear to have like double jointed knees, double jointed elbows. She does have like that thigh swivel. Again, just from the images that we've seen, we don't really have any in-hand pictures or anything like that. Just from some of the shows that have been shown, some of the conventions that people have been to, she looks like a fantastic figure. We did also get some quick images of Blanca, which, as I reiterate, the body sculpt looks fantastic. It looks like it has all the great articulation that you could want. Butterfly joints, double jointed elbows everywhere, solid ab crunch. At least from the images that we can tell, the cuts look phenomenal. But the head sculpt to me is the selling point. It looks just like they put a lot of effort and they really studied the video game, and they were able to kind of do their best and bring it to life in action figure form. What's going to be really interesting with these bigger figures is whether they're going to fit into the packaging that we've been receiving, or whether they're going to have to enlarge the figures enlarge the packaging a little bit more, or give us a brand new packaging for the deluxe figures. I'm not sure if this is going to be a deluxe release, but I believe that some people have mentioned that if Blanca was standing up, he would tower over most of the Street Fighter figures so far from Jada Toys. We also got a really quick look at Vega, and they're going with the shirtless look, or the shirtless skin, which I really like, although at least from what I remember in the video game, he did seem to be like one of the slimmer characters. So this is where some of that reuse could get in the way of really fleshing out some characters, and this to me is a perfect example. I think they should have had a sleeker body mold instead of this big giant hulking body mold, which I'm assuming they're reusing from either the Ryu or the Ken figure. But it seems like he should have gotten his own body mold, or at least the chest area, maybe a different body mold from another character. The biggest one, or the biggest reveal in my personal opinion, was that Sagat action figure, just completely towering over every single character. It seems that he's even bigger than the Blanca action figure. I do not have the actual measurements, but if I had to take a guess, this figure is easily about 7.5 inches, maybe a little bit bigger. Definitely a wider figure than the normal Jada Toys figures that we've seen thus far. And I'm gonna just assume that he's gonna come in a new packaging. I know that it may seem a little bit weird that I'm harping so much on packaging, but I'm actually pretty excited to see what they decide to do, if they do like an arcade cabinet style packaging again, or if they give us something a little bit different for this figure, because I'm going to assume that it's going to be a deluxe reveal, and it's going to have that deluxe price tag. As I mentioned, we don't really have any information on how much this particular figure is going to cost, but let's just assume it's going to be a little bit more expensive than the rest of the figures so far. But I love the fact that all of the offerings, regardless of how big and how thick the figure may be, it still comes with that phenomenal articulation. Especially Sagat still comes with, it looks like double joints everywhere, double jointed elbows, knees, butterfly joints, ab crunch. We'll see once we have it in hand whether all of that articulation is going to work well in that particular big beefy body mold. But there you guys have it. I just wanted to give you guys a quick heads up if you had not seen the images, and then just really quick my opinion on the line as a whole, because I'm very excited. I'll be brutally honest with you guys. I'm very much looking forward to see what else Jada Toys does with this particular line. I'm sorry if I rambled. I'm sorry if I took this way too far. It's a really bad habit. Regardless, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Are you a big fan of the line? Are you not? Let me know down below. Or which character are you the most excited about? Very curious to see everybody's answer. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Stay tuned. A lot more content coming at you guys. Stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.